going to be a suspension that's appropriate for a young man who has some bad social media conduct, essentially, or is this going to be a punishment for a young man who does not have the complexion for protection in America when it comes to doing anything that is out of the straight and narrow path that has been carved for people in his position?
Let's go.
Ah, man, listen, we've been talking about this ad nauseum. Not to down the brother. We know Ja Morant's a young brother. We uplifting him. We want the best for him. And if anything, we sending in positive reinforcements and love his way. We know you're gonna get it right, brother. Let me start there. So we rooting for you more so than anything from the any arena family. Rooting for you, big fans of your game, and we hope the off the court antics can be curtailed so that they don't impact the dollars and the earning potential that you have both on the court and through endorsements.
Oh, sorry to
But
hear.
we've heard from Adam Silver that he's uncovered more information on the John Morant situation. You had to suspect what type of information do you think he might have uncovered about this situation? And ultimately, what do you think will be the I'm assuming there's going to be a suspension. What do you think is a fair suspension versus what do you think the NBA will actually do, if anything? And what's your expectation about what we'll see coming out of this?
I don't know. I don't know. Based off what we saw Ja do again, you know, showcasing a firearm on IG Live. Again, I don't know why you got to record every time you rap into a song or you out in the public vibing. Don't have to do that. But based off what Adam Silver has presented, it's extremely opaque right now.
Yeah.
I can't do anything with what he gave me. I can't. There's nothing that I can't draw any conclusions or even develop any type of plausible assumption about what's going to happen to Ja Morant. What I do know is he's going to get suspended. This more information that's scrolling at the bottom of the on the ticker, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued about what information he has on Ja or the NBA has on Ja. Because you and I, we're talking about this off camera. These professional leagues have investigators.
Yeah.
So you guys are their assets. And people don't like to look at people as a dollar amount, an asset. You are an asset. And I'm trying to make sure there's no liability surrounding my asset. If there are liabilities that are surrounding my asset, and it appears that my asset is tempted to partake in those liabilities, then I got to reconstruct. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this asset to possibly get it off my books or give it the required attention that it needs to stay away from the liabilities. So I'm going to just turn it over to you, but I really don't know what this more information is about.
Yeah, I can't speculate what the more information is about. I mean, maybe there's something about gang ties or anything like that, which to me wouldn't be that big of a deal because we've seen plenty of NBA players that have gang ties. We know that that's a part of the inner city and where some of the players come from. So I don't think that would be as big of a deal. To some extent, I kind of feel like they're dragging it out, and I think that's unfortunate because I think that anytime the media has an opportunity to, vilify a young man of color, they take full advantage of that. Um, if you guys are going to suspend him, I think you could have done that. I don't know what other information they have. You
This
know,
is a two-pronged approach, though, too, just to kind of piggyback on what you said, because maybe they are still fact gathering, right? Maybe they don't have their ducks in a row to basically set, because this is an unprecedented situation. Like, I don't think this has happened historically because of the heightened usage of social media. You know,
Mm-hmm.
back in the early 2000s, even in the early like 2010 part, people weren't online recording their everyday life like this. Like they just were not. So this particular situation, they thought it would be remedied the first time he got in trouble, but
Mm-hmm.
subsequently, he he did it again. So now they're trying to figure out, I think, what needs to happen. So to your point too, yeah, it can take away from the Denver Nuggets because they will win the championship. Talking about them throughout the summer and such. So I just wanted to chime in on that so we can have a dialogue. But I don't know, man. I think they're still gathering the facts.
Yeah, and I mean, from my perspective, it's almost like what facts are there to gather? Like he had a gun in the car. I'm not making light of the situation, but at the same time, it kind of just is what it is, right? Like, and my over the course of time, as I've had more conversations and spend time with more people that I look up to and consider leaders, and we've talked about this at length. I'm kind of at a position now, like, I want to see how you guys are going to handle this. Because, again, if he wasn't breaking the law, we've seen pictures or videos of other NBA players, whether it's coming from a hunting trip or whatever like that, with guns. We've seen politicians, elected officials in the United States, in the face of all of the gun violence, mass shootings that are taking place, send postcards with them, their children that are under the age of 10, holding guns on postcards. We've seen this in America. We have a culture of guns, right? A culture. We have organizations that pay lobbyists just to make sure that they can keep their rights for their guns. So, is this going to be a suspension that's appropriate for a young man who had some bad social media conduct, essentially, or is this going to be a punishment for a young man who does not have the complexion for protection in America when it comes to doing anything that is out of the straight and narrow path that has been carved for people in his position? That's what I'm interested to see at this point. Um,
Mm.
do I think he should get a lengthy suspension? Well, I know that it's probably going to have to be longer than what he got before. I don't know what those conversations were before, so I know it'll probably be longer than that. But if we see a 41 game suspension, half a season, or something like that, I think that's unprecedented for someone who hasn't broken the law, for someone who, again, outside of these two incidents, we haven't, and then the other incident with the kid that was playing basketball at his house or whatever. We don't have all the facts on that, so I won't speak on that. But we start to draw a line here where it becomes about less about the law and more about morality. I haven't personally reviewed the code of conduct. I know that all jobs have a code of conduct and they can take it at their discretion. But at the same time, you have the Memphis Grizzlies organization, then you have the NBA, and I think the NBA better be very careful about what their next move is here, right? Because this can become something a lot bigger than they want it to be, and I'm just really interested to see what comes out of it.
Hey, I'm gonna let that marinate. Yeah, you have some really good points right there.
For sure. Listen, we've talked about the job situation at length, but now we're finally about to get some type of resolution, whether it be good or bad, on the situation. We want to hear in the comments what you guys think. Let us know. As always, give us that CLS treatment. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll be back with more from in the arena.